All right, Rossi, we have our WWE Women's Tag Team Champions, Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill, 2 times champs, representing NXT, Jakara Jackson with Lash Legend, Metaphor, representing Monday Night Raw, Kairi Sane, Io Sky, Damage Control, and then representing SmackDown, Chelsea Green and Piper Niven, and they don't have a tag team name. And that is kind of the match that we have here. And you can see if you look back, you can see the breadcrumbs of this match developing. Overall, how excited are you for this very, very weird on paper 4-way tag team women's match?
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be a lot of spandex bodysuits for sure.
Oh, that too.
In one ring. But no, I mean, I think seeing a match like this is really cool in Saudi because it just feels like not too long ago that you couldn't even put a woman on the show. So the fact that we're at a point that you're getting, 2 women's matches and one involving 8 chicks at once, I think that's it's pretty cool. And we'll see how Lash and Jakara do with the lights on. Right, this is obviously going to be the biggest match of their lives so far. But I mean, there's enough good workers.
They're in there with good company.
Okay.
Yeah,
right.
For sure. All right. So, can you name the first Saudi women's match off the top of your head?
It was Lacey Evans and Natty, wasn't it?
It was. Now you can find that on OnlyFans.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
Yeah, I think that it's cool that it's not really advertised that each brand is represented here, but I think it's cool that there is. And I think it's cool that it's been a year since Kairi Sane returned at Crown Jewel at this pay-per-view. So there's a lot of cool kind of symmetry going on here. I think Chelsea's in a really good spot. I like that she's still with Piper. If gun to my head, if someone had to win this match other than Jade and Bianca, I would kind of go Chelsea and Piper. I think it's the perfect spot for them to win in the perfect kind of setup.
Right, and I kind of expect Damage Control to end up tied into a Raw Female War Games. So you probably want to keep them away
even name
from
the War Games.
Yeah, I mean, it's just figuring it's going to be Raw. You got to assume they'd be on Team Rhea if that's the route that they go. So then, Chelsea, if someone's going to win, which doesn't necessarily mean that they will change the titles, because Saudi, normally you see a title change in Saudi, but with these 2 special Saudi belts, that might DQ that.
Yeah,
right?
that's a good call.
So yeah, I mean, but if anybody's going to beat Jade and Bianca in a match that they don't have to get pinned, then Chelsea stealing a pin from Jakara Jackson seems like a good fit.
Yeah. So Lash Legends debuted all the way back in the 2.0 era. And right away, she was kind of ridiculed, especially by the Meltzer types of being not ready, very bad. What are they doing in 2.0? Bring people like her up. But you can see why they wanted to accelerate her journey to kind of the main roster, right? Get her on TV. She has a lot of natural charisma. She looks like $1 million. She's menacing. She's pretty big. She's a former forward center at Mississippi State. So she has quite the pedigree behind her. That match, throw in the natural charisma, the improving in-ring work, because that's what she was heavily criticized for. But I don't even think she was in the PC for 6 months before they threw her on TV. So, in retrospect, that was a little unfair on all their parts. But overall, what do you think about the growth of Lash Legend? Because in 3, 4, 5 years, you can look back and be like, wow, she was in that match and look at her now, really, type of thing.
Yeah, I mean, definitely improved pretty quickly, I think. I mean, I can't really say that there was a lot of NXT moments of hers that I would say you have to go out of your way to see. But she hasn't looked lost in the main roster, which that might be telling as to where the NXT women's roster is in comparison to the main roster women's division. Because it's almost like they might fear her getting lost in the shuffle and not being able to keep up in NXT, but on the main roster they might be like, yeah, she'll be fine. Yeah, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I mean, her and Piper works as 2 bigger chicks, we'll say, duking it out, and obviously her and Jade, I'm sure will have a cool moment in this match as well. So she definitely fits a main roster charisma, right? Whether I could see her hosting a talk show on the main roster, kind of like she used to do on NXT. there's a lot of good use for her there if, you know, it does become a permanent call-up. There's definitely a lot of ways, especially we might be sitting in a world in January where we've got 2 3-hour shows, or 1 3-hour SmackDown and 1 2+ hour Raw. Definitely more TV than they used to. So in that world, she'll fit, especially on SmackDown, because I think Raw is going to be a little upper echelon for people like her, you know?
Yeah, I think it's a good spot for her to kind of set her wings off and go. It's like she's not really needed in NXT either, right? She doesn't fit the girls in NXT, especially if like Grace comes in, right? She doesn't fix Julia. She doesn't fix even Roxanne and Cora.
Zari is there now. Like, they're stacked. I mean, they've got NXT's got 12 girls in a show at the arena next week. Like, and there's other chicks that aren't even on the show. So they definitely have enough space there. And Jakara is also another one that I'd like to see more out of. She's got a good presence to her too. I think
that's some shit to her. We'd say that in football.
I see a little Sasha Banks in her, like early Sasha Banks. They seem like similar body type, but the way that they carry themselves kind of similar on that like experience level, you know?
Yeah, that's good. That's good shit for sure. What I like is Jade here. I want to see her versus Lash in a showdown, and not from like a standpoint of, oh my god, like these two menacing people. Who do they put that shine on? Right? Jade's been around for a year plus now. She's mostly been in this tag team now, 2-time champs. Are they spinning the wheels? I don't think so. They're spinning the wheels to something, but what is it going to be? So right there, November 2024, in this match, I wouldn't mind those two girls kind of having a showdown, a stare off, whatever you want to do. And where would they focus that energy towards is kind of what I'm most intrigued by.
Yeah, and like, do we think that the Jade Bianca rift starts here, or do you think it's still kind of early?
I don't think it's a bad spot for it. I'd be surprised if they lose. Like I'm going to be rooting for Chelsea because I always am. I don't think Jakara and Lash really have a chance, and it feels like if they go back to Io and Kairi, they're just spinning their wheels with that, and that's kind of going to go nowhere. So I feel that this is just a showcase match for all the girls involved.
Just whenever I see, like, you know, that unstoppable tag team in a 4-way, you know, when they don't have to get pinned, like that's how they lost the titles to
the first time. Yeah.
The first time. So
yeah,
we'll see. We'll see. Like, I think that it's definitely a good benchmark point for Bianca too. I'm sorry, not Bianca, Jade. I don't think she's been that bad like the last couple months. I mean, it's been limited use, but she hasn't embarrassed herself in the ring. Like, people shit on her relentlessly, no matter what she does. And I think that she's more than held her own. And there's plenty of worse workers on that main roster than her at this point, you know?
I think she has all that natural charisma. She has
the presence.
Improve the presence, the star power, all that. She has a lot of stuff that people don't have, so I think she'll be fine. I think that that energy is people that really kind of just want to hate her, right? So
right.
I wouldn't really worry about that. But all right, I'm gonna I'm throwing money down it. I'm gonna pick Bianca and Jay just to retain, but I'm gonna pick Green and Piper just for fun.
Yeah, I think I'm going to pick Chelsea in every match that she's ever in. So that's going to be my gimmick. So I still think this should, even though, you know, I still think she should have won Money in the Bank. So give her this one on a show where, you know, Tiff's probably going to be running around with the briefcase. Well, let's put some belts on Chelsea and Piper. And I feel like they're a perfect team to have the tag titles too, because they can bounce back and forth between NXT and, you know, you can use them.
They kind of do anyway.
Right. You can use them however you want. And, you know, even if there isn't like a big time dissension that's built between Bianca and Jade, it could be just like, all right, one person bumps into the other and that's what knocks them out of the match. Might be no fault of their own, but it could just be a little sprinkling of the start of it. And ultimately, I don't really think they go too full bore with that until the Rumble.
Yeah. All right. And is it a detriment towards Damage Control that we have really brought them up? Are they just kind of dead in the water? Are they boring? What are they?
I think that they're in this match to make sure it doesn't completely fall off the rails. You know what I mean?
Great call. Great call.
So I mean, those two are gonna take beatings in this match. They're gonna be bumping all over the place, and they're awesome. I mean, Io, even post title run, she still has awesome moments, and she really hasn't been given a ton. She's kind of just in the waiting ground. I think the Asuka injury definitely derailed them as a group. But we got a little bit enough of a tease with Julia and NXT last week, just by them walking by each other, that I'm like, all right, let's just fast forward and get to that as soon as we can.
Would it be interesting enough to put the belts on them for that Julia and whatever they got going on in the NXT tag team division?
Yeah,
Would that be worth it?
Can you do that match on like a, I don't know, deadline or whatever the pay-per-view is in December? I don't know. I mean, the
That would
thing
be
is,
absolutely
like,
electric.
yeah, like what's gonna happen? Like, obviously, I think if NXT does that like Iron Survivor bullshit that they always do in December, that's probably gonna be where either Vicker or Julia get another title shot. But yeah, I mean, that's the match of matches, unless they just hold off until Asuka's healthy and do it the 4 Joshi girls at once,
All right, so last question as we get out of here. Out of these 8 girls, which one will hold singles women's title first or next?
Ooh, that's a good question. I instantly want to say Chelsea, because I feel like she's the one that they'll keep elevating to
She
that
can't
level.
be the real answer, though.
But the real answer, I mean, I probably Jade, because you figure
Jade over Bianca?
Because
Okay.
you figure if they do Jade and Bianca at Mania, then what's next from there is maybe like Jade Charlotte, So that would probably be my guess, is Jade.
Yeah, interesting. I'd go Bianca just to play it safe.
One of them two,
Yeah.
for sure. I think it'll be a while for Io to get back up on there. I'd love to see Kairi get elevated, but she seems so far away from that.
She stinks, Mike.
No, she does. She's just like, the way that like she can have good singles matches. It's just like that's not her place right now. And I don't know when it will be, because you still got Charlotte, you still got Becky, who I expect back at some point. So it's going to be tough for her to ever really break that wall down.
Yeah, if all 8 of those names were in like a pie, right, it would be colored Jade and colored Bianca 95%.
Right, with like a little bit of Chelsea, right?
Yeah, true. All right, Mike. We'll see you on the next one, buddy.
All right, later, pal.